to my channel. My name's Captain Crush. I apologize this video is coming out late today. I usually like to have it out by 1:30 at the latest, but what can you do? The fact of the matter is this, boys, and we have 2 games on the NBA slate tonight and 1 crispy NFL primetime on Amazon. You can't beat it with a stick. The thing about it is this: I'm not interested in the NBA schedule. We have 10 games on one day, 15 on another, and then 2 and then none. Brother in Christ, it should be 6 games every day. That's it. 5 to 7. That's the sweet spot. That's the optimal spot. And that's what it should be. So, Mr. Silver, if you want to make gold, 6 games a day, and then you don't have to worry about players resting. But let me hop off my soapbox for a second here, and let's talk about the 2 must plays that I have for you today. I'm going to cover NBA, and I'm going to sprinkle in some NFL for the YouTube faithful. That's right. But before we do that, let's talk about yesterday. The 2 anchors, De'Aaron Fox, 43 fantasy points. He cashed. LeBron GOAT James. I tell you guys, it's not always when I target the GOAT, but when I do, bang, he's hitting. He's cashing. Optimal 1v1 run back, both of those cash. But here's the story of the day. The fly in the ointment, Max Struss, my 3rd up at bat. Buddy in Christ, my brother Max Struss. The man had 29 fantasy points. He was a green bean. My pick 3 power was there, as you can see, even with the 2 turnovers. But then the unthinkable happened. 3 minutes left into the game. Allen throws a ball at Struss and he turns it over. You can't make this stuff up. The man had 4 turnovers in the last 6 minutes in the game in a blowout. He shouldn't even have been on the court. But that's just the world we live in. That's how it is when we gamble. This is a lesson in telling you guys anything can happen. The man had 29 fantasy points. That's a green bean. The only way he doesn't cover is if he gets 4 turnovers. And sure enough, he did it in literally a record fashion, man. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, but luckily I was able to salvage the day. I had a lot of Fox, a lot of LeBron. Max Struss, if he would have covered, it would have been an extra 750, but it is what it is. We move on into today, and today we're going to start with the NBA, and my oh my, do we have garbage games on the slate. There is one solid game, that Thunder game, but that Miami Heat Brooklyn game, let me tell you right now, it's going to be slow, it's going to be low scoring, and it ain't going to be it. It ain't it. Is it hitting? Well, let me see what I can dig through this dumpster right quick and find. I've already posted plays in the cord, so I'm going to try and see what I got for NBA. My core play is going to be Shai Alexander. Absolutely. He's the thumbnail. He's him. He's on one of my favorite teams, the Oklahoma Thunder, the young studs. Shai is going to shy tonight, and he's going to shine as well. I have all my faith in him. It should be a great matchup. The Warriors, the Thunder, it's a high point total. Anytime the Thunder are in the mix, it's going to be a higher point total and a pace up spot. I'm hoping and praying that Shai doesn't let me down. 50.5 fantasy score is what I'm going to say. I do like another proposition better than this. It's his rebounds at 5.5. Like Eddie says from Discord, if you're skipping around on Crush's YouTube videos and you're not listening to the breakdown, you would have missed it. You happy you got that shout out, buddy? Finally, Shai Alexander, 6 rebounds, it's bumped. So I like it at 5.5. And where can we get it at 5.5? Well, you can get it at chalkboard and you can tease it down to 4.5, or you can just take it at 5.5. That's your prerogative. But even at 6, it's still in play. Remember, the Warriors are missing Draymond and Curry. Shai tends to get rebounds, he gets assists, he gets points, he does it all. Look at this handy dandy notepad. Shai, 1.53 fantasy points per minute with a crispy 33% usage rate. I love it, okay? 33% usage rate. Buddy, the guy has the ball in his hands all the time. Whenever that's the case, fantasy points are going to be racking up. Unfortunately, that's going to rack up turnovers too, but hopefully Shai can continue to crush because that's what he's been doing. Optimal matchup, optimal point total. He's the best point guard on his best player on his team, I should say, but I also like his rebounds. So remember, if you can find his rebounds at 5.5, whatever book of your choosing, you can take it. I also took the bump at 6 because I also think he's going to get 6. So at the worst case, he pushes, but he can get 7 too, and he can cover. So either one of these, if you want to splash in the PRA, I don't mind that. Shai is the guy today. I'm going down with the ship, buddy. If Shai sells tonight, well, then my day's over. And you know what? I'll move on to the next day like I always do. No tears here. I don't cry. I'm a grown man. So let's keep our feet firing and talking about this other game, okay? So we can go on over here, and what do we got? This seems like a smash spot, okay? I need to talk about this. Bam Adebayo, if this was any other matchup, would be a smash spot. I love centers against the net still. It was a thing. It's not as much anymore, but it's still a solid match, okay? But here's the deal. This game, like I said on the intro, slow pace, defensive minded, ugly game. All right, but I have a model projection that's putting Bam high over at around 46 fantasy points. I don't want to leave this out because it could just be this easy tonight, boys. Just shy fantasy and Bam fantasy. It seems too good to be true. That's my only reservations here, okay? But I love Bam in this spot. He's been getting it done. I don't care about the last 5, but let me just show you this for ceiling and floor purposes. 52 against the Hornets, 55, 61, 52, 67. I mean, he's him. Jimmy Butler's back now, so it's gonna lower his fantasy point per minute a little bit. I have it over here on the notepad. Let me bust that thing out. Bam Adebayo, 1.36 fantasy points per minute. He's a big man, a 5, and he has a 28% usage rate. That should be great signals in your brain, and I have him going more 43 fantasy points, okay? Now, I'm telling you, like Eddie says, if you're skipping around, you're gonna miss this. Am I saying he's a core play anchor? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying in a normal situation, if it was a normal point total and against any other team, he would be. I still have him projected to go over. I still have this 2-man in play. I have exposure to this right here. But if you don't want to take his fantasy points, you can take his real points. If you can find the line at 21.5, I would like his real points. But his fantasy line is in play. I took 1.5 blocks and steals over on Sleeper. He's just in an elite spot. So if we take out Bam and we still want some exposure, listen, we only have 2 games here, guys. You can go right back to Kyle Lowry. I don't love this at all. This is a total dart throw. If you anchor Kyle Lowry tonight, you're doing it wrong, but he's in play. I know he sold us all the other day. I know he did, but I still have him projected to go for 26 fantasy points. He had 2 fouls in the first 30 seconds last time he played and 4 fouls before the 15-minute mark, okay? He played absolutely terrible. He's in a bounce back spot, so he's absolutely a dart throw and he's in play. But my favorite guy on the other side of this game, the Brooklyn side, was Cam Johnson. They bumped him up to 28. He was at 27.5. He's still a solid play, but you need to be looking at someone like Jamie Jacquez, these role players. This guy has stepped up. He's got it done. If you want exposure to the Heat and you don't want to take Bam, you can take Jacquez or you can take Lowry. It's dealer's choice. You could even go around to Duncan or something like that. You got to be creative on these 2-game slate. And the last guy that I want to talk about is just going to be Chris Paul. My goodness, Chris Paul? Really? Am I talking about Chris Paul in 2023? What is going on? 36.5 fantasy points. That's egregious. But listen, we got no Draymond. We got no Curry. And I don't see any lines for Looney or Kuminga or Saric, any of the role players. Listen, if they put a lineup for Dario Saric, you take it, sir. Revenge game narrative. He's used to play for the Thunder. He's a great shooter, rebounder. I want his points. I want his rebounds. Dario Saric, I don't think they have him up yet. Let me check real quick. They might have added him. Nope, he's not up. But when Saric is up, you need to be targeting either his points or his points, rebounds, or even a fantasy score if they put it up there. He should eat tonight for as, a role player could. Now, Chris Paul, my model has him almost being the highest point differential on the slate. I have him for 41 fantasy points, but me personally, I do not like this at all. I don't think he's going to get 36.5 fantasy points. I'm just not a believer in Chris Paul, but I can't worry about that. I just got to trust the analytics and see he's in a great spot. He's going to have a usage uptick. It's his team right now with Curry and Green on the bench. No one else is there to lead the team. It's got to be him. The only way they stay competitive tonight is if Chris Paul comes out, dishes out dimes, 9.5 assists, or if he scores points. My model has him going for 11 assists tonight. That's so ridiculous, but that's what it's pointing to. So if you want to take Chris Paul, I felt the need to tell you guys it's in play. It's not a core play. Shy is the core here, okay? The other guys are all playable, completely in play, but they're not like a core, okay? You could also target Chris Paul's point. Now, let's go on over to the NFL, baby, because this is where the magic is going to happen, I hope. But before we do that, since a lot of these PrizePicks lines have been bumped, I want to show you something. This was the chalkboard slip. I posted this right here on YouTube yesterday. All of you guys should have had chalkboard and got this in and have a W. They don't have Android yet. They're working on it. I talked to the guy today. He said that there's an engineer working on it every day. So you Android fellas, it's coming soon. Now, Kyrie, Boyd, Robinson, we took his alternate line. He crushed. We could have taken his main line, but we took the alt line. Banchero, same thing. Alternate line, 6.5 rebounds, cash. De'Aaron Fox, his initial line was 33.5, okay? I liked it, but I wanted to get value. So I teased it on down to 29.5, took that crispy alternate line, and instead of getting a hook at 33.5, bang, cash it. And then Luka, same thing. I liked him at 29.5 real points, but I'm going to take alternate lines because why not? I'm not trying to win $1 million overnight. I will happily take my 4 or 5x, whatever this paid. I forget. It was like 4x, I think. 25.5, bang, cash it. And all these guys, Fox and Luca, well, they sold on PrizePicks for their OG lines, but since I got it on chalkboard, cash it. And that, my friends, is the key to alternate line. I'm telling you, I'm not just plugging it because I'm a partner. Get your booty over on chalkboard. Use promo code CRUSH. A lot of people have been claiming the 30-day free trial. You guys, I see you on Twitter in the DMs. I hit you up. I give you the link. We're crushing together. Happy to have you in the cord. Today's chalkboard slip is posted under Captain Slip in the Discord for you guys there. If you want to check that out, you go to CaptainCrush.net, gold package, synchronize your Discord with mine, and you will get my everything that I have to offer. But the key to all of it, the live streams, baby. The live streams is why I charge. The live stream supersedes the list. It supersedes YouTube. It supersedes everything. That's where you get to ask me all the questions about projections, models, anything you want to know. I got you, fam. I got you. That's what I'm here for, to help you out, buddy. You don't just have to go with my read. I tell people all the time, guys, you're always going to be happier, win, lose, or draw, if you take your own reads and stick with it, okay? My job, my goal is to help you be better at making your own read, all right? My reads are my reads. That's it. If they don't hit, they don't hit. But if you guys can come up with your own reads and I'm giving you the tools to be able to figure that out, then I feel better and I sleep good at night and I love what I do. So the live streams are critical and I love that you guys have been going there. We're getting like 60 to 100 every day in the live streams, and that's clutch for the time that I do it. That's clutch. Now let's move on to NFL, buddy. And who other than Joe Burrow to be in the slip? Oh yes, Joe Burrow, 17.5 fantasy score. It's in play. I got him going for around 21. Look at this, 21, 22, 27, 14, 24. Is this going to be a good game tonight, or is it going to be a stinker? I'm not sure, but I'm telling you right now, if the Bengals win, it's going to be because Joe Ice Cool Joe comes out there, bang, touchdown, bootleg out, bang, goal line rush, touchdown, cash it. That's what we need. That's what we want. Okay, I'm telling you right now, Joe Burrow, you better come out there tonight and play like you want to win, because if you don't, I'm losing coin. Now, if you don't want to take the fantasy score, you can go over and you can look at his other props, his pass attempts, things like that. All that stuff's in play, boys. So we got Joey Burrow and then Gus the Bus. I'd be amiss if I didn't talk about Gus the Bus. I've been preaching about Gus the Bus for a year now, it seems. Now I'm telling you guys, Gus, he's not that guy that's just gonna bust a 60-yard touchdown run or a 60-yard long run and cover for 6 fantasy points. He's not gonna be catching balls. He's not gonna be doing any of that. That's not Gus. You know who Jerome Bettis is from the Steelers way back when? That was before all your guys' time. But I'm telling you, this guy's job is to literally get in the red zone, or specifically the green zone, 5 yards out, and just rush in those goal line TDs. Now I'm telling you, Gus Edwards' fantasy score, it's in play, but the only way that Gus covers that is if he gets that touchdown goal line. Like last week, he wouldn't have covered without it. I tell you guys this all the time. If Gus gets a touchdown, he covered, okay? It's that simple. No touchdown, it's going to take a Christmas miracle the size of a Miracle on Ice or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's going to be super hard for him to get it without a touchdown. So if you can find the anytime touchdown prop instead, you have my blessing to take it. Gus the Bus, he's going to get a goal line carry. Hopefully he can get in, okay? I know they got Mitchell and I get all that, but Gus is still their green zone, red zone guy, okay? Hopefully Lamar doesn't vulture his touchdowns on the goal line tonight, because lately it's been the inverse. If you go over here to Lamar Jackson's fantasy score, you can see 15, 12, 11, 34. These are the times when Gus has been taking that goal line equity away from Lamar. Usually Lamar will rush in on the goal line. Lately they've been handing it to Gus, and that's why he's been getting the fantasy score. 9, he had 1 touchdown here to cover. 29, he had like 3 TDs, 2 TDs, and then if he doesn't get a touchdown, 6 and 4, as you can see, he doesn't get it done. But look at here, okay? Those 6 and 4s, that's when Lamar had 34 and 20. It's directly correlated. If Gus gets the goal line work, he's going over, and it also takes away from Lamar. So don't put Lamar and Gus fantasy in the same slip like that. It's not good correlation, and I gave you the reason why right there. That's how you need to be thinking about these props. Remember, I tell you guys, you need to take one side of the coin and argue why it's going to hit, and then bang, tails, the other side of the coin, and argue why it's gonna sell. And that is what will get to be a better fantasy sports player. I'm telling you right now, I'm preaching about it. I promise you, I'm right. That's the way. Now, the last piece of the puzzle that I'm gonna talk about, well, I'm gonna mention 2 things, okay? The kickers, I don't know about these fantasy scores because they're high, but because it's a Thursday night primetime game, they're 100% in play. I wish wish they just had kicking points, but whatever. Fantasy scores or field goals made, they're in play. Every time a primetime game is up, whether it's Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night, kickers and punters are in play, okay? Tucker's got an amazing leg. Evan McPherson's good too. Either one of these two, they're not core plays. Again, they're darts. You can take them, and I just gave you the reason why. Primetime, model has them projected both to cover by at least a point, so they're in play. But my favorite play left on today's board is going to be Tyler Boyd. Whether you take his receiving yards, his fantasy score, his receiving targets, all of these I have projected to go over. So I go right here to my projections real quick, and as you can see, Tyler Boyd, 8 receiving targets. That puts him 1/7. Receptions, 5.7. Yards, 54. And fantasy, 13. So with that in mind, I feel great targeting Mr. Tyler Boyd. I'm just kidding. It never is going to feel great targeting Tyler Boyd. He's just not him. But with no Higgins, Irwin and Boyd got to step up. Boyd has been stepping up. So it's literally dealer's choice, and I like him a lot paired with Burrow. Whether you want to take Burrow's pass attempts or his fantasy or Boyd, any of those are in play, okay? The receiving yards, the fantasy, if he gets a touchdown, he's going to hit this fantasy. He's just like Gus Edwards in that regard. His receiving targets, I've seen that making the rounds on Twitter. I have him projected for 8, so at 7, I like it, especially it has push equity. Any of that's fine, boys. And then I talked about the Ravens. I gave you guys what I like. It's going to be a shorter video today. I don't have much. There's only 2 games and 1 NFL game, and I got a lot of stuff that I want to do today. I will say this, guys. I appreciate you guys watching the YouTube videos. We're almost to 10K. We're about 1,200 off, so keep hitting that like button. Keep subscribing to your boy. I appreciate it. And for all the new Discord members and the people cashing in on the chalkboard promo, hey, you guys are gonna crush too. I appreciate you guys. Make sure, if you can, attend the live streams, guys. The key to all of this: watch the YouTube, check the prop list in the Discord if you're in there, attend the live stream. You do those 3 things, I'll have you a better fantasy player. I guarantee it. Remember, guys, this is the key to all of it right here. Vegas odds, model projections, trends, game theory, and narrative. And this is the key. These are the 4 pillars that I use, guys. And these are the things that I try to hammer home in my Discord, on YouTube, live streams, all of it. I try to teach all 4 of these things and how they apply to make you a better fantasy sports player, okay? So with that in mind, I want to give you guys a big thank you and a salute from me to you. And I appreciate it. And as always, let's crush.